Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another Tips Tuesday session where we're diving into tips and tricks to help you with your marketing. If only you guys could see me dancing when that theme music comes in. It is that little bit of a jive, and that's a handy little marketing tip for you too along the way to help you with your marketing. Okay, today we're talking about something that I've seen pop up again, and it pops up quite regularly, is sharing your logins on the social media platforms. Which ones can you, which ones can't you, and what is the risk and what's the consequences to you if you get caught? Because I know lots of you out there saying, hey, Linda, but other people do it and get away with it. Why can't I? So let's go through a little bit today, platform by platform, about the risks and what's going to happen to it. Now, number one risk, regardless of platform, is the security risk of your personal information. This person gets access to your date of birth, they get access to all the information that you feed into the platform because they're able to see the information that you popped in there. Okay, so it already puts you at risk of cyber hacking and cyber security. So that's number one that we wanted to look at. Your identity is potentially going to be stolen. Now, I've got lots of people worried about using certain apps at the moment or using certain things because they think that their identity is going to be stolen, but then they're also sharing their logins to these platforms, which has all the information for their identity to be stolen as well. So number one is be careful of who you share your logins with, if you share your logins at all, so that you don't have your information being able to be accessed and be hacked by anyone in particular, because that's number one reason we don't want to do it. Okay, the other one is by sharing a login with someone else and having logins happen from different countries and all of those sorts of things. There's different data processing laws, there's different online protection laws, and you are no longer covered by the laws of your country if someone else is logging in from another area. So that's another risk that you're putting into place. So you've got to consider what the risks and those sorts of things are from there. Plus, if you log in from too many multiple locations, you can find you've got too many different people logging in. You can find that your account is a little bit restricted along the way. So that's the risk about sharing a login. Sorry, I've got token notes in here. The first one and the major one is about identity theft and cyber hacking security. You've provided information to whatever platform, whatever social platform you choose to use, to those providers. And if you share a login, people can access exactly what you wanted to know and exactly what you've loaded. And especially now with professional mode on places like Facebook and LinkedIn, you're verifying, you're putting up, and Twitter and those ones, you're putting up driver's licenses and government forms of ID that people can actually access. So be really, really careful about sharing your logins. And we'll go in platform by platform very shortly about what it is from there. Okay. The identity theft is one of them. Sharing logins can be the consequences of that. I don't think I really need to talk about the consequences of identity theft. And are great. Trust me, I've had my ID exposed, not through a social platform, but through another platform. And it's not great to have to go through and monitor your credit files or check whether your bank account or people are creating things inside your business. So that's now number one. Now, the next risk when it comes to consequences of using our social profiles, and there goes my tablet. The next one that we've got, and I'm just going to grab some links for you all now, is relation to shared logins and those sorts of things of what you can and can't do within a profile. So in Australia, you would have remembered in 2021, there were some new media laws brought out. The great outage of Facebook and all of those things kicked into play. And under some of those media laws, it became very clear that what was posted on your profile, what was done as reviews, you were responsible for. Okay. So if you share your login with someone else and they happen to think that they're in their account or whatever it is from those areas, you're still responsible for what content went out in that post. Now, that content may not really express your reviews. Gosh, words, Linda. May not express your views. They may not be connecting the way that you want that information to be able to connect with your people. It could be completely off-brand message, but once it's out there on the internet, it is hard to take it back. Okay, so if you are looking at being able to share things, making sure that we are talking about our tone and the things are going to work from there. Now, inside the chat for this event, I have just popped in some details around terms of service. Now we're going to go through platform by platform and actually just quickly talk about what each one of these means. Platform by platform, we're sharing your login. Now, a login doesn't, when I'm referring to logins, I'm not talking about team accounts, brand accounts, running pages and those sorts of things. So you can have people help you admin a page. You can have people have you admin a group. And that will start us with the first one, which is Facebook. Okay, so Facebook's user agreement has some very clear terms around it. Our user agreement is we will only ever have one profile. Okay, we will not share those login details with anyone else. We don't have a profile as X and X company. We don't have a company as husband and wife, and we use a name that we use in everyday life. And the thing about using a name that we use in everyday life is if you're ever required to provide ID to verify your account, if you're hacked or you need to do something along those lines, then that is what's required by Facebook for you to be able to do that. So it does allow you to then allow people to admin your pages though. And it's not just a case of, sitting here saying, oh, well, no one can help me with my brand. If you've got a public figure page, then someone can log in and they can help you manage that page. You can connect them via Business Manager. You decide what access they've got. You decide how much they can, whether they can comment, whether they can post, whether they can create ads. You make that decision. And that's basically across Meta as a whole. That's one of the things that they've got in that area. Same for groups. You can put in admins and your page can admin and they can then be working under the brand or the page. A really good one. And look, guys, I get this. This is not a sexy topic. You really want, as business owners, to be able to hand this stuff off to people. I know, I get it. But the reality of it is there's sometimes when it needs to be done by us. Now, the other one that I see popping up a lot is LinkedIn. Okay, and being able to share your LinkedIn profile when someone's working for you, like messaging or reaching out to people and those sorts of things. Big one on this area. LinkedIn also has a requirement that you have your login, you have the keys to your LinkedIn account, and you don't share those details with anyone else. So I think it's 2.2 of their user agreement that I've just included inside that area. So just making sure that you don't do that. But once again, you can have pages, you can have groups, and you can have people admin those pages and those groups for you by using LinkedIn's page manager and business tools, by being able to help give access and secure access to what we're looking at. So what we're seeing here is the platforms want to allow you to be able to manage a brand, okay, through their channels, through the right tools so that you can provide access to logins and share and do those sorts of things. But the consequences are, if you don't, especially with both LinkedIn and Facebook, you're either looking at restricted access or you're looking at removed access in total. And that just means you've lost your account, you've lost your Facebook group, you've lost everything you've worked so hard to create. Pages may go if you're the main admin of the page. There's lots of things that you can lose along that way. And while we're on that topic, if you are the only admin for your page, go and get a trusted friend or someone to be able to admin with you along the way so that you've got some backup in there as well. So that's the one from Meta. Now, from a LinkedIn point of view, from an Instagram point of view, you can log in from LinkedIn, from Instagram, from multiple devices. They're still suggesting the best thing is with multi-factor authentication and making sure that you really are logging in just yourself from multiple devices. If you want someone else using the Meta Business Suite, comes in from there. Now, Twitter has just released and just allowed team account access using TweetDeck. So you can log in to a Twitter account using something like team accounts, or you can all log into the one area from there. So it's, again, they've got pretty tight two-factor authentication setup, but they do allow you to be able to access a brand's Twitter account, and they're slightly different to personal logins. You have multiple Twitter accounts, you have multiple Twitter logins. You don't have Twitter and sub logins. So the team accounts is a good way of being able to do that one as well. Now, Google does not want you to share your login as part of their best practices. They don't say you can't, but they're discouraging it. And they don't want you to share those logins as part of their best practices. But they do have handy tools that you can add someone in and allow them to manage your YouTube account and give them manager rights, not full admin and editing rights, and take them away. And you can also delegate email boxes so you can share an email with someone else. So that's really, really handy tools that Google has. Everything that I've read and spoken about is they're discouraging it. You can technically do it, but I would think as more two-factor authentication comes out, Google's going to follow that one as well. And TikTok have a pretty tight two-factor setup with the phone number, with the device, and the account security that you're looking at. So it suggests, and especially with their also representing who you are and impersonation factors, it suggests that they don't want you sharing your logins with someone else. Now, we couldn't find anything in particular that said whether you could or you couldn't inside their terms of use and user policies. But when we sign up to a platform, when we jump into these platforms, we are making sure that we are agreeing to their terms of service. And if their terms of service are that we can only log in as ourselves, we can represent ourselves, and that's the key, then we're going to grunt in from there. So our alternatives to sharing logins, okay, what we've covered a little bit about that so far. But right now, the alternatives is go, well, can my page do this, especially for Facebook and LinkedIn? Can your page do the outreach? Can someone be an admin of your page and do it that way? Can we do it through a group or something else like that, where the page is also adminning that space from there? If you do need to share logins, don't do it outside of terms of service, but make sure you're using a tool that is a password manager that securely encrypts your passwords. You never show it to anyone else, and then you can take that password away from time. But bearing in mind, if you provide information to people where you provide your date of birth and all of those sorts of things to being able to access a social platform, number one risk that we have, forget the terms of service, is identity theft. And as business owners, none of us want to go through that. None of us want to be burying and digging ourselves out, not buried in it, but digging ourselves out of an identity theft situation where someone's maybe setting up credit cards and ranking up a whole heap of information. So today, I just wanted to recover the risks and the consequences of sharing logins to social media platforms, and making sure that you don't lose that identity that you have created or lose those profiles and accounts you've created. Until next time, I look forward to sharing more tips and tricks with you each Tuesday. Haven't worked out what next week's one's going to be yet, so if you want me to cover something in Tips Tuesday session, let me know in the comments and I'll come back and see if we can do it. Until next time, see you later.